posting patient to Siabadinga. You asked
Do
me
you know
about
if
it
they
was-
occupied 4
I know
wards?
that they occupied 3 wards.
And then her evidence was that you went there and you personally pushed beds with patients from 1 ward to the 2 wards to make, and you mixed males and females in the process to open space for Anchor House.
We never mixed the patient for that, for Siabadinga, because if you want me to take you through what happened with Siabadinga, because I don't want you to interject.
No, the answer, the question is, did you mix patients? Did you push beds to make space for Anchor House?
No, I didn't push beds, but I advised the team that are there to move the patient while I was still there. Why I did that? Because the CEO of Siabadinga, Miss Noel, was not answering the phone. But immediately because we wanted to discuss that with her, to say, there is 1 ward you use as laundry, and there were napkins, all the dead were there. And there is 1 ward that is vacant. So can we say the other ward that has got 17 patients and some patient went on LOA, when the patient become better, they start to go home on LOA. So when I called her, she didn't answer the phone. I wanted to discuss that with her. Then I asked that, what can we do with the team that were there? And then we said, okay, let's see how we can put the patient. And the team that were there, they did put the patient, and I was there. I checked the patient thereafter.
So
I also,
if I may interject, so you are saying in a nutshell that the CEO of Siabadinga and Anchor House and the social work from CCRC are not telling the truth when they say that the patients were actually in 1 ward, females and males. They're not telling the truth.
No, you are giving me something else. I was answering, they were not telling the truth when they said I imposed patient on them. Then you touch on Siabadinga, and I explained Siabadinga. They were not telling the truth that I imposed the patient on them. That is not true.
Okay.
Well, before you walk away from this license, Council, page 2385, we know you issued that license
That's correct, Justice.
for 150 mental health care users.
That's correct, Justice.
Severe, profound intellectual disability is the scope of the license. And you say you issued it because you considered the patients to be like children.
That's how it is, Justice.
And the license was to Anchor House. The CEO of Anchor House came here and said she was never housed at Kalafong Heights.
That's correct, Justice.
Why did you issue the license to a premise that did not exist?
Like I said yesterday, that it appears that people, as they were working on that, for them to be able to be paid, I think the error that the NGO manager was not to remove the word Kalafong. If you go and check the SLA, it's written and signed for Kalinen Care and Rehab. It was just an error.
No, sis Nkarabe.
No, ke a le araba, Justice.
Lang kwa sis.
Ke le kwa ha botse gore, a ke re ke a tlhalosa.
Why did you issue a license for a premise that does not exist?
Like I said, the license...
Or was not occupied or used?
Okay. The license were prepared to my office, and I look at what has happened. Like I'm saying to you, it was an error. Because although we gave them the license, these people at Kalinen, Anchor, didn't occupy Kalinen during April.
I'm saying, do you understand your responsibility under the law?
I understand it well.
You are giving permission for somebody or a body to take into their custody with severe intellectual disability. You're giving them that authority by law to look after them against payment. And the law has specified how you do it when you issue a license. Why would you do it so haphazardly? Why wouldn't you make sure that the facts are suitable for patients? That is my question.
1060. Which one is it?
Like I said, Justice, I think that issue of Kalafong was an overlook. I must admit, it was an overlook because the other areas that were required, we had the place which was done and assessed by ourselves and the clinician. We had their numbers of staff. I think it was an overlook to still
An
have
overlook.
it as Kalafong. Yes.
So can I get it from this?
But we're talking about lives of people with severe intellectual impairment. And what was the consequence, you remember, of this defective license? Enka went where? To Kalinen, right?
That's correct, Justice.
On whose instructions? We have that all on evidence. I just wanted to confirm it.
On our
And you
guidance.
instructed the CEO to take out some patients out of Kalinen to make way for the patients that you ordered should come there.
Myself, Justice, ordered the CEO, myself instructed.
That is the evidence before me.
Yes, it doesn't mean the evidence before you are correct evidence.
Who?
No, if they are correct evidence, why am I here?
Okay, you tell us, how did it happen?
Yes, like
You issue a
I
license to somebody called Enka. They have no premises. That is discovered. You say it was a human error. And then what happened?
okay. What happened, Justice, was that when we renovated Kalinen Care Center, it was planned that there were a lot of patients in Kalinen Care Center who didn't have families and who families may not be able to take care of. So when we renovated that, the issue was that those who Kalinen knew that they need to be at home or at the NGOs, because when you talk about patient with intellectual
I don't want
disability.
explanations first.
No,
Say what happened, and you can
I'm
tell
giving
me
you,
why it happened.
Okay, I'm giving you
Let's
what
not
happened.
mix the two.
Okay,
What happened and why may be the
Okay.
second thing.
Okay,
First
what
tell me-
happened? We renovated the ward.
Yes.
When we still have, the ward was evaluated and was signed off as the eligible ward. A CEO took the patient from Kalinen to Siabadinga.
On whose instructions? The CEO just got this bright idea?
No, it's not my instruction. It's not my instruction because we know one of the NGO that was supposed to occupy where the Siabadinga was Love Disciples. So CEO did it on herself and placed the patient there in good hope to say those who are coming from Life Esidimeni who cannot go into the NGO will be in the Kalinen.
So
That's
the
the why.
CEO made the decision, not on your instructions.
No, not on my instruction.
And you go there and you help to inspect the place. We are told you even pushed beds around yourself. No, they were here. They have testified. People
Yes,
from
and
Kalinen.
I hear what you are saying, Justice. Everyone will have to protect their skin. The 100 beds, no, that is true. The 100 beds was renovated by department, not by myself. That's number one.
But
the
who said
placement
that patients of Enka may go to Kalinen?
on Kalinen, on Enka may go to Kalinen.
Yes.
It's fine.
Now
There's we know there's no premises.
yeah, the anchor. Let me come. You are clear with the
That's my question from the beginning.
No, at the beginning you said the Siabadinga justice. I was answering the
Anchor,
Siabadinga.
and we're talking
Now
about the
we
license
come to
and anchor, this license you signed
Okay.
with no premises.
Okay, let me explain the anchor. When we were busy with the placing, the team, the NGO team, were also going to see the patient where they are placed. They found that there can be the 2 wards in the renovated ward of Kalinen that can accommodate some patient. They went and speak to the CEO of Siabadinga, and she said she cannot accommodate any more patient. And they phoned me. They asked me that because she cannot accommodate any more patient, and the resources, whatever she had, is only that. Can we get one of the 4 NGOs who are willing to occupy Kalinen and occupy Kalinen? I said, if the CEO said that, I don't have a problem. I took my time and called the CEO of Siabadinga to find out, actually, the Kalinen one, where are the people whom we agreed that they will take 100 patients. She said they are no longer there, is another NGO. And I was surprised. Another NGO, what NGO? She started to say, I will tell you. And I said to her, okay, I learned that another NGO that you say is there, which we don't know, but we need the other beds that they cannot use. Can I have the number for the CEO of the person? She gave it to me. I called the lady. At times I couldn't get hold of her until I got hold of her. And I asked myself, after I was told that they think of another NGO, can we bring other patients to make the total of 100? She said no.
Patients under your care end up with an NGO you know nothing about.
Yes.
How did that happen?
It happened from the CEO of Kalinen. I think you can ask the CEO of Kalinen that, because I know of the NGO called Love Disabled. Justice, we know that things do happen at times, but it happened. I didn't know. And for the first time, let me just pause there. I didn't know about the Siabadinga.
And what about the poor patients?
Yeah, that was my concern. That's why I took initiative to call the CEO of Siabadinga.
And who would have got the patients there from Life Esidimeni?
The whole
On
premises,
whose instructions?
The whole premises on the termination terms was going to be accommodating patients from Kalinen Care, those 100 beds.
Who ordered that the patients at Kalinen be discharged?
The patient at Kalinen are discharged within the hospital. It was not me. I'm not working in the hospital. The CEO and the multidisciplinary team identified which patients are supposed to be discharged to the renovated bed.
You know nothing about
No, I don't know, because I was at strategic
and
level.
You had no hand in it. You didn't give any instructions.
No, I didn't give instruction. What I know was the Love Disciples will be the NGO that will occupy the place, because we took them through the process of managing NGO.
And the executive management of CCRC are clearly untruthful when they say you gave them the instructions.
To take patients from them to Siabadinga.
From Life Esidimeni to Kalinen, and that Kalinen must discharge patients
No,
to make room for patients that were to be placed.
No, that report, the CEO told me that she will do it that way. And there was nothing wrong, because her multidisciplinary team identified those patients that the family cannot take care of, and those who doesn't have families.
Nothing wrong. How many people?
When she said that, there was nothing wrong, provided the NGO that is going to manage that place will be taken through the process. And she came with them in our first meeting.
How many people died after all what you said was nothing wrong at Siabadinga?
Chief Justice, I didn't say there's nothing wrong. I'm saying it was, Siabadinga was not assessed, but the premises was eligible because it was assessed, even the clinician assessed it.
How many people died at Siabadinga?
The last time I knew, when I was still at the department, I think 9 patients died at Siabadinga. But the report have been going on. I cannot be his exact number. But let me tell you this, Justice. The first time that the CEO really tell me the truth about Siabadinga, I didn't know about, she was going up and, let me not do that. But one patient died. She reported, and I said, CEO, you are reporting me that there is one patient who died in Siabadinga. Where are those people you brought to the meeting of NGO? And she said there is someone else. Then what I did, we started to check Siabadinga. Where is it coming from? Was it an NGO? The team went and find out. And I sent the man that I wrote a letter to the Miss Masondo to say, can I get the board to go investigate the death in Siabadinga? So I didn't fold my hands, Justice, and say, let the patient should just die. I didn't. It was painful for me as well.
Thank you, Justice. Ma'am, just to follow up on the licenses. On Monday, you said that, or rather, let me ask it differently. So the NGOs that receive patients from Life Esidimeni, you made sure that they were all licensed. Am I correct?
Yes.
There was
Yes,
no
Councillor.
NGO other than Siabadinga, you said so on Monday, that received patients from Life Esidimeni, which was not licensed.
According to my knowledge, Council, it was like that.
Yes. Okay, if you could please open file number 7, page 2478. I will just take you through some of the assessment or inspections which were conducted by your department, but post-placement. Two, 478. Yes, so this is in respect of Shama House. Do you remember the NGO by the name of Shama House?
Yes, Council?
Yes, the date of the inspection appears at the bottom as 21 July 2016. Can you see that?
Yes, Council?
Yeah, if you tell, or rather, whilst you are there, it would appear that they were operating from plot 45 in writing. Do you see that? So if you page over to page 2479, my apologies. 2479. On the notes that are written by a pen manuscript, it says not receiving subsidy at this stage. Do you see that?
Yes, Council?
Yes. And then if you go to page 2480, right on top, it says no license and not receiving subsidies.
Have you found that?
Yes,
Dr.
I found
Manamela.
it. I found it. I found it.
2480. Now,
Yes.
this information was recorded by your team who did the inspection post-placement. So they are saying that Shama House did not have a license. Do you wish to comment?
My comment will be Shama House, if he didn't have the license, I think the best people to comment will be the district, because we signed all the license from the head office and give it to the district to issue it. That's number one. Number two, Shama had already had patients that they are not receiving subsidy, and those patients were not even licensed, that we licensed as we're busy with the project.
Yes. Also, we checked on the licenses that we received from the department, all the copies of the licenses that we received from the department. We could not find any for Shama House, coincidentally.
That I don't know, but what I know is that it was presented to me. We went even during NGO marathon. Some of the family, I think they were there. We look at that, and the team that we're dealing with that need to give you the license, because I was not part of compiling this document, but there was a license that was issued. I remember very well, because they started on themselves. when we look at we're trying to find the bed, we found that they are not licensed, but they were receiving the patient. And we said we must correct that.
Let me ask this question before I continue. The assessments, earlier on Monday, you said there were assessments that were conducted before the licenses were issued. Am I correct?
Yes.
And then you said, I referred you to some assessments which were done in July. You said those were post-placement assessments. Yes. So this assessment, this is one of the post-placement assessments. Would they be given to you? Would they be submitted to you? Or to any of the department seniors?
At that time, I don't know the system now. At that time, any license will be issued from Mental Health Director.
I mean the assessments.
Yes, the assessment they will be given, especially if it's new. They will be given to my office.
And then
the
so that you
NGO
could check if there's
yes.
compliance, and if
Yes.
there's non-compliance,
Yes.
you could
That's
assist
why
and rectify.
Yes, that's why I know of some that they had around 50 patients receiving them with no license. They were only given license during the process, and we went. It's one of the NGO that I managed to go with the psychiatrist, if I'm not mistaken, and the family committee members.
If you look at towards the bottom there, the second last table, it says that they had 50 plus 60 patients, and then there's a note that says 50 patients from Life Esidimeni.
Correct.
You see that, okay? And then if you...
How would the patients get there? How would they get to Shama House?
They were transported to Shama House,
without
like
a license.
other patients. This is the 50
On
patients.
whose authority?
On the authority that was made during the termination.
No, they have no license, and they get to a place which is where they're
Okay.
supposed to be looked after. Who would have made that possible?
Okay, Justice, I think now you refer for the ones we found there with no license.
No, from Esidimeni.
No, they from Esidimeni were not placed there without license. Even when we had to place Esidimeni patient, we had now to ensure that every patient that is there is amongst the one that licensed,
Well,
and then
listen-
it made their license to 110.
Just
But
listen to
before
counsel.
that,
Just
they
listen to
had.
counsel and the question. Just listen to with the question put to you. A report by your team. Would you try again, counsel? The number of people who were there and the part from Life Esidimeni.
Thank you, Justice. The report, we have already established that the report was by your team, and then it would be submitted to your department. The report says that Shama House did not have a license. They had 50 plus 60 patients, so they had 110 patients. Of the 110, 50 came from Life Esidimeni.
Let's pause right there. Would you explain that?
That's what I was explaining, that before, this is post-evaluation. We signed, from my office, the license was issued and given to the district. It means maybe when these people went there, the district didn't show, I don't know. Didn't issue the license to Shama, I don't know. But what I know was that the license were already given to the district, because some of the NGO are known by the district. We know them when we read on paper, but they know the NGOs.
Earlier on, you said there was only one institution that was not issued by a license, and it was Siabadinga.
Correct.
Now, it is clear that the Shama House did not have a license. This information comes from your own department, who conducted the assessment immediately after placement. I will move on. Page
You
2481.
must tell me how those patients got there.
Can
My
I ask?
focus is on patients.
Yes, my
How did
focus
the
is
patients
also.
get there? Who instructed that somebody must fetch them from Life Esidimeni and take them to Shama House, which is unlicensed and not fit for purpose? How did that happen?
Can I also ask that you are saying is from my office, and I don't see the signature here, But the truth is that if they go there, they don't find a license, they can't write there is a license. But I know why I know about Shama, because it was reported that Shama was operating with 60 patients without license. It was not known. It was like any other NGOs that are operating, even Bosi Abadinga, where they were before they come to Kalinen. So, but when we went, when it was reported, we had to give the license for the whole patients because we found that they are mentally ill patients. That's why I know about Shama.
No, ma'am. How did the patients from Life Esidimeni end up at Shama House?
The patient,
Who transported them there? On whose instruction?
on the instruction that was made on the termination letter that the patient must be out of Life Esidimeni by the 30th of June. And the project team identified the NGOs. We cannot assign this project to one person to say, so and so did that, so and so give instruction, because it was a project. When we went there, like I said, I repeat it, even the family member, I believe that we went to Kalinen and then we moved to the same.
I'm going to try again. How did patients from Life Esidimeni end up at Shama House? Let's focus on the patient.
Patients
The
were
exposure
transported.
that they would have had to confront. How did they get there? On whose instructions?
I said it, the justice. I said the instruction was because of the termination. It was a project issue managed by project team. And by that time, the people who were placing, they knew exactly how many patients will go to Shama, how many patients will go to Kalinen, and how many patients will go where, according to the bed that was given by the district.
And you had nothing to do with that decision to get patients to Shama House?
I was not transporting the patient, but I was part of the project team. So I have to check. That's why I checked Shama, and when it was reported to me, they've got 50, 60 patients not licensed.
Now, you as head of mental health care, how would you allow the project team to send patients with mental disability to Shama House, which you had not issued with a license?
No, correction was that I issued the license. The district submitted the document, I issued the license. As where the license was at that time, I don't know. And because it was one of the part of termination, I couldn't say don't take patient to Shama. If the report was saying Shama is given license, maybe Tshwane district can tell us what was the license at that time.
You go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Justice. If you go to page...
Finally, getting the click in closer, right? Mowing the lawn without mowing the cable. When your washing machine gives you all your socks back.
With so many good deals at the Tops at Spa Subfest, you'll find any reason to celebrate. Get this bottle of Shiva's Regal 12-year-old blended Scotch whiskey and 2 glasses for only $279.99. Only at the Tops at Spa Subfest.
But there is a chief, there is a coordinator in charge who was given the license.
Okay,
So,
let me show you something else as well. 2481.
2481.
Right at the right corner there, it says manager dispense medicine. A manager is the one who was giving medication to the patients. And if you go to 2484, the first paragraph, it will seem patients use jobs as rehabilitations. Activities in the center, for an example, cleaning, preparing food, household activities. But the
But
gist,
what's the question? What's the question to the...
the gist of the question is that this was not a suitable facility for the patients. Do you agree?
I can only talk to when before
were
we
making their own food.
Yes, I can only talk to before we place the patient, because I was at that strategic level. So after that, how they were doing that, then if I found that they are using patient, then that will be something else. But now, by the time they wanted me to sign a license, the area was assessed. So at that time. So after that, things change, and I cannot dispute the
I
road.
will come back to change. I'm actually going to change. 2491, the last point on Shama House.
That might have to be the last reference. Let's take our tea break.
Dangerous. 2491 on Shama House. At the bottom, no sick bay, no storeroom is untidy. There are scrap metals lying around outside. And on that very table, you could see a lot of stuff that is ticked as not suitable for the patients by your own staff. Ventilation, not suitable. Ablution facilities, not suitable. Toilets, not suitable. Wash hand basin, not suitable. Baths and showers, not suitable. Cooking and dining facilities, not suitable. The list goes on. Your own staff found the place to be unsuitable in July. So how is it possible that it was suitable in April when the license was issued?
The very same staff that identified, because they are from the district. They are the one who identified the NGO. And if they found it unsuitable at that time and reported to me, we would have taken the patient immediately.
Maybe, ma'am, maybe you didn't care. You didn't care one bit. You signed whatever you signed and forgot that it was about people with blood and flesh.
That was your assumption, Justice. You don't know how we were working.
Show me how much you cared.
But I am
how
telling
do you
you.
send patients to Shama under those conditions with your obligations under the statute and under the law? How could you allow that?
I said to you, at the time of evaluation, it was found suitable and reported to me that I should issue a license. But if during the process things fall apart and I'm made aware, there are a lot of NGOs that we went from the province. Actually, we start with them and close those NGOs. So I cannot accept justice when you said I just don't care. I can't accept that.
You will be asked many, many more questions there, and we'll see what you accept or you don't. But it's going to be a long, long time to explain these deaths and how they happened and your role in them. We are adjourned for tea till 12 o'clock.
Well, there you have it. The arbitration process, Life Esidimeni arbitration process currently underway.